I mean, if you've hit this video, then you probably have the same issue that I have, as well as a bunch of other E39 and E39 M5 owners. Your hood is stuck, isn't it? I'm here to show you how to open it if yours is stuck the same way mine was. Little disclaimer, the way I opened up my hood is probably a little bit extreme, and my case is a little bit more extreme than what I've seen online. It was stuck to the point where I dislocated this thumb, and it's become a longer process than I ever wanted it to be. But as you can see here, I have a whole bunch of goodies for this job. And look, in your case, you might not need to replace all of these things, but for me personally, my pin got stuck so bad to the point where I had to chop it off with the Sawzall. Originally, what broke is the piece on the interior. This cable right here on the latch itself, where you pull the handle, it ripped right here. So what I had to do was pry this, cut off a little bit of this black sleeve, and wrap it around on a pliers, hold the sleeve while somebody else pulls on the actual cable itself and try to open it up that way. That's not the case. Mine was stuck so bad to the point where I literally couldn't just take a small little screwdriver, stick it in here, and open it this way. I've seen some people use their key to open this lock itself. It was just stuck. It was completely stuck, and my guess is that one of the pins was just completely either rusted through or something, and it got stuck in that latch itself. And another part, the cable that goes into this lock right here, this piece was worn out as well, so I couldn't even leave the cable in and try to pull this side from the interior because it would just slip out every single time. I couldn't do it. The latch on the passenger side, however, this cable right here was pretty simple. I pulled on it and this unlocked. As you can see, I had to break off the grills. Luckily, I didn't have original ones on here, and hence why I got new OEM grills. But these I just broke off and tried to reach from the underside right there. As you can see here, we have a whole bunch of shaving marks. Luckily, only this is the little piece that got damaged, got a little bit scratched. But this is what I had to do. I had to take a Sawzall and chop off this actual pin right here. You can see right here that the passenger side hood latch, it was pretty simple. This cable right here, I just pulled on it and this latch unlocked. This one, however, I could not get to it at all. What I did was chop off a little bit of this fan shroud. You can see that pin from way over here. The reason I cut this off is because it was just taking up a little bit of the room. Took a long Sawzall and just chopped it off from the inside over there. I had just enough room to actually cut just the pin and only damage this side of the actual radiator support here. Luckily, that is it. The hood is completely undamaged and everything else is completely fine. Some people I've seen take a little thin needle and stick it in through here with a little hook and try to pull this latch on this side, but again, mine was ripped not only there, but there it is right here. I could not stick it into the actual lock. It would just slip away every single time. And then if you go on the inside of the car, this is the cable from the handle. It just tore off completely. So today I'm going to show you how to replace all these parts that I've just showed you. Again, in your case, it might not be so severe. You don't need to replace every single item here. But for me, I personally thought that if it's getting stuck already on one lock, I might as well replace the other ones and the other pins and lube everything up properly and just go the whole 9 yards. I don't know. But welcome to Yev's Builds, dude. Alright, first things first, if you are successful and you're able to open up your hood, the first thing we're going to do is grab a 10 mil, unscrew this one right here. It's going to be identical on this side. Take your 8mm, we're going to unscrew both of these headlights. So that's going to be a tab right here, that one right there, one down in there, and then one right there. Same on this side, it's all mirrored. 8mm, 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 and an 8mm down in between that. We're gonna pop both the headlights out. We're gonna move them out of the way just a little bit. I don't think we're gonna have to disconnect anything, but we'll just move them out of the way. Take a Phillips right here and a Phillips right here. Unscrew those. 8mm right here, 8mm right here. We're gonna unscrew these little tabs, and in theory, this entire shroud piece, this metal piece, should come off. But before we take this off, unscrew these 3 screws right here, and these 3 screws right here. That way it's gonna be much easier to unscrew them later on. These 2 pins right here are also T30s. But if I were you, I'd remove them after we replace all of this in case your hood closes and locks up again with that bad lock. Let's get to work. So I was a little bit wrong when I said we're going to remove this entire top piece because it is part of the entire radiator assembly. It doesn't move. As you can see, I popped it out from behind the actual tabs for the headlights, popped them from underneath, just put them over the top, and it doesn't go anywhere simply because it is tack welded right here onto the actual radiator support. But we do have enough clearance right here to replace those locks. So I think without bending them too much, that's what I'm going to be doing. Let's get to it. We've already unscrewed these. Easy to replace.
You can see here on the old lock, this is what I meant by when I said it's worn out. See how the cable sits in there? The other side of the cable that's on the driver's side, that goes all the way like that. It's supposed to sit here, but it just keeps sliding out. So before we put all these pieces back in, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take some graphite lube and I'm gonna lube up these little areas on the inside, just to have them all kind of prepped and whatnot, so let's get to it. And now I'm gonna take the new cable, take the passenger side lock, put it in through this little hole right here, twist it, that way it goes through this entire opening. Boom. That is good and set. Now on this side, we use this little hole. Same sort of deal. And by the way, these locks are the same part number. There we go, solid. These are ready to go back in, except what I'm gonna do first is take this cable right here, the one that's quite short. It ends and it connects to right here. It ends in the middle of the hood assembly, right? It'll have this piece right here. And I'm gonna take this cable and put it right through that driver's side lock. Same sort of deal, just like so. That is ready, and now we can put this back in. As I was putting these in, I noticed that these holes are not tapped. They're just holes. There's nowhere for the screw to screw in. That's really strange because I got it literally from the BMW dealership. That's original BMW. But since this is aluminum, I've already tried to test it out. If you just start pushing it in and screwing it in, it'll make itself a new thread, you know? But that is super strange. Very strange. What the hell, BMW? Anyway, whatever, let's get back to it then, I guess. Once you got your entire front end buttoned up and everything's back into place where it should be, take your new cable, this piece, pop yours out from right about here. It's gonna be 2 little holes, pop yours out. Mine's already popped out. Make sure everything's nice and pretty. Make sure it goes underneath this piece right here, under the metal piece, and pop it into its new seating position. And there's the other. That is there, and it is secured. Before proceeding much further, it's a good idea to take your other cable, push it into this little piece right here, pull on it, and make sure both locks are working. Ours are, so we are good to continue. So it looks like for me to pull this old cable out, it goes all the way up in there and into the actual cab. So, well, let's pull it out from here first. Boom, that's done, and it still keeps going in there. So let's remove this piece right here, this air filter. Remove that, pop this tab, and this third one. And this box, in theory, is removed quite easily. Pull this sensor off, and we can see exactly where this cable goes to now. It is that one right there, pretty nice. Go ahead and feed it through, just like so. Just like that. It is removed, and now we have to push this through into the inside of the car. It's definitely best to use a flathead of some sort, but yeah, there she goes. Once we get inside, you can see that what we just pushed out is right there, and it's quite simple in my case because, well, I already tore mine apart. If you're not this far in the process and you don't know how to disassemble this, it's quite simple. There's going to be a few clips like this. Just unscrew them really, and then this whole cover just pops off. Then we have a Phillips right about here. The handle comes off fairly easily, and in theory this is where the cable should be sitting at. For us to remove this piece, however, I feel like we need to remove this piece right here, this actual cover. First, we have to remove this plastic piece. Be careful, it might be pretty brittle, but there's going to be a few clips right here. Take a prying tool of some sort and pry it upward just like that. And now we have definitely more room to remove this entire plastic piece, which comes out seemingly fairly easy. Just has to be pried off everywhere and from every single direction. So it's a little bit harder than it sounds to do, but there's gonna be a little sensor clip right here. Unhook it from the latch right here. Unhook it, and you pretty much just have to pry it out. Make as much room as you possibly can. And this whole piece with the slave pedal right here, it's all gonna remove. It's all one big giant plastic piece. There's gonna be a little screw holding this to the actual chassis right here, and you remove that and it all pries out pretty easy. So then behind this insulation, we have the plastic piece that comes with the new cable, and we got to remove that. This little screw is going to be a T20. Remove this, and this whole plastic piece should pry out. There we go. Comes off just like that because the new handle comes with this piece anyway. So let's go ahead and replace it. And now everything's back in reverse. We're going to start off by simply fishing the cable through the chassis hole. Make sure it's seated nicely. There it is. Nice and secure. Make sure you pull it through that hole underneath. Push it through this little piece right here. And let's close her up. Boom. That's in there. That cable is in there. Lock this up. Very beautiful. Let's button up the rest. Nice. Feels good. Take your T30 socket and remove the 2 pins. The old ones are out and gone. This one is absolutely gone. New ones are in. Again, we're gonna lubricate the outside right here. Everywhere else, we're gonna lubricate it. And when we're gonna be closing it, don't tighten the screws on each side all the way because we're gonna have to align the actual latches with the locks now. There we have it. The new pins are both in, nice and lubed up. I like it. What I did was I actually tightened one almost all the way in, and then I tightened one bolt enough to where it holds it, but not enough to where it just locks in one place on both sides. And now I'm gonna close the hood, and wherever it latches, that's where I'm gonna try to actually open up the hood later on and just then tighten up the screws. Wish me luck. Hopefully nothing gets jammed again. But we have contact here. You can see the pin is going through on both sides. I'm not gonna latch it in, I'm not gonna lock it up quite yet. I'll just pull this up again gently so that nothing really moves. Tighten these suckers up and we'll test her out, dude. I think it is safe to say that we are able to put our new original BMW grills in and make this thing a little bit closer to stock than it is now. Oh, what a snug fit, dude. Those aftermarket black ones were trash compared to these, dude. Let's see how they look, huh? Oh, stunning. Stunning. Chrome just looks so good on these, man. These are timeless pieces right here. Everything works and everything's good. I like it. And I think on that note, it's safe to say that the job is well done. Everything's working smooth. That's the most important part. Dude, I'm stoked because I ain't trying to dislocate my thumb ever again, you know what I mean? But dude, if you're not familiar with this channel, you should consider subscribing. We've got a V10 M3 I'm building, got another M3 I've done a whole bunch of work on. That M5 we've done plenty of work on, timing chains included. Dude, stay tuned, man. There's a whole lot of things coming. Appreciate you. Peace.